Hello, guys. I've been away for a while, but I'm back. This is not really related to women, this subject, but I think it's important. I think women, I'm going to talk, a portion of it I'm going to discuss women, but this video is more on the problems in our world today and the biggest causes behind them. And I have thought a lot about this subject, and when it comes to the problems of the world, I believe the biggest causer of those issues is people of dark triad psychologies, dark triad psychological traits, not traits, but that have the foundation of dark triad. Now, that's a psychological term, and it refers to three main characteristics, which are psychopathy, Machiavellianism, and narcissism. They're all characterized by a lack of empathy. So these people, they do terrible things. You have psychotic people who murder children. You have psychotic people who, like Jeffrey Dahmer was an example of a psychopath. He would keep his victims' bodies in his fridge. He would just go to, imagine this guy has a psychological makeup where he kills people, takes apart their body parts, puts them in his refrigerator, and goes to sleep like nothing happened. There's people like that in our world today. Now, here's the thing. Here's the crazy part. Now, it's estimated that around 1% of the human population is clinically psychotic. Now, out of all three of these, psychopathy has to be the worst. It is the darkest part of the dark triad. It is the people that you'd refer to as like demons or like devils. These are just the psychopaths are pretty much that. So they're not really human either. Like humans, for instance, something could happen. They contemplate. If a regular human did something wrong, let's say they did something like they lied to their friend, and then and they feel really guilty about it. So they feel guilt. They feel like I shouldn't have lied to him. That's not a good thing that I did there. I think I made a mistake, and I think I hurt my friend's feelings or something like that, right? A psychopath won't do that. He will not have an inkling of an emotion there. He just does not care. And there are female and male psychopaths. But some of the most sick, gruesome, and twisted crimes are by psychopaths, mainly by psychotic people. We have Ted Bundy was a psychopath. We have Richard Ramirez was a psychopath. We have a lot of these serial killers, psychopaths. So, for instance, there's one story of this guy who, I forget his name, but his like the brother of the person the kid who was killed. The brother actually is like a self-help guru today. But basically this guy, he kidnapped a kid. He sexually abused him, let's just say. I don't want to get too profane here. And then he, as the kid was trying to run away, he shot the kid. And then he cut his bodies into small pieces. Okay? Now, this was a kid, like a little kid. And when he was in court, after he got arrested, when he was in court, the parents of the kid were crying, and he was asking, why are the parents crying? Like he didn't understand. He didn't understand why they were crying. He couldn't understand it because he's not able to feel that sort of empathy. So that's an example of what a psychotic person is like. Now, I had a theory, and I have a strong belief that we should cancel the genes of psychopathy as one of the first things we do to improve humanity. We cancel at a gene level. Like, we take out, because it's genetic. It's not like these people are born. These people are born. There's something called a sociopath, which is someone who develops psychotic traits out of like abuse and things like that. It's more of a survival mechanism for them. If they come from a really difficult background as a kid, they will develop sociopathic traits. They're not born like that, but they're made into that because of life circumstances, things that happen. It's like a survival mechanism. But psychopaths are born. There's something, there's a disconnect I forget exactly what it is, but there's something wrong with there's a disconnect in their brain. I think the amygdala to the emotional center. I forget. I'm not a psychologist, but I know it has to do with a disconnect in their brains. Now, a lot of the problems in our world today, whether it comes to bullying, kids bullying smaller kids or whatever, or crazy serial killer type crimes against humanity, things that are like only a demon or devil you imagine could do, or massive political crimes, financial scams, huge ones that destroy people's lives for the gain of some guy who's scamming them. Things like that. These things do happen, and they're primarily done by people of dark triad traits. Dark triad traits. So psychopathy is the extreme detachment from empathy. It's interesting. I noticed. I've seen videos of psychopaths speak, and it's said that 1% of the human population is psychotic, right? And I watch interviews with psychopaths, and it is interesting because I notice something really off. It's like the normal. There's like a sort of detachment to their words, the way they speak. There's a sort of I just don't feel a person behind the words. It's like everything is just something very surface level. Everything they say, the way they behave. So I'll give you an example of something that happened really interesting in when I lived in another country, let's say. I was going with this guy. He's kind of weird. And at the time I was like, younger. So I was thinking like, I want to be nice to this guy. He probably doesn't get out much. I'll show him around, whatever. I'll go out with him. So I went out with him. And I'm not going to get into too many details, but let's say I ate something a bit weird and I wasn't feeling so good after, right? And I don't think he put anything in my food or any drink, but I think I just had something that I wasn't used to, and my stomach was feeling really bad. And I started telling him, I'm going to throw up. I need some sort of like help. I'm feeling like lightheaded right now too. So I told him that, and it was so interesting how little he seemed to care at first. It was like just completely blank. And then after a certain point, he was like, I looked at his face, and then I noticed he was acting. He started acting like he cared. It was very weird. It was like, are you okay? I am so, like, it sounded like a robot or something. And I was like, well, yeah. So basically, I went to the store, and the store was closing. And I was saying, like, do you have some sort of like medicine for like digestion or whatever? And I was feeling like I was going to pass out almost, right? Because I ate something. I don't know what it was, but something from another country, and I wasn't feeling good. So the store workers were like, no, sorry, we're closing right now. We can't sell you anything. They're rude dumbasses in that country. So I was like, all right, thanks. And then the guy I was with was like acting so like he was pretending to be like caring and pretending to help. He was like, no, my friend blah 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 needs this help. But I could tell there was no emotion behind it. It was very eerie, very weird. And then I noticed when he would talk, it would always be like it would be just weird. It seemed very detached and very, very extremely objective. Everything he would say was extremely like flat, plain. And he would also use pickup artist stuff a lot on women. So, and he would be extremely secretive about it. For instance, like one time I brought up like a pickup artist with him in front of this girl that he's gaming, I started saying the name of the pickup artist follows. Bro, I sensed like a murder vibe in this guy. I sensed like he was gonna do something like lethal, like the way he was looking at me at that point, like very predatory. He like really didn't like that, and it hit me with a nerve. I was like, this guy looks like there's something wrong with him. Like this is not a normal look. They call it a psychopathic stare. It's like a predatory type of stare, the way a lion or a tiger would look at a gazelle from the distance. Like that's a psychopath looking at another person. Women do it too. Psychotic women do have that same look when they put on a mask. Their whole lives are a facade, and they are actors throughout life. They pretend to have emotion. They pretend to care. They pretend to do these things, but behind closed doors, they're a dark creature, a replica of like a demon, and there's an inner hatred of human nature. Like I heard something like a friend was telling me, he was like, she knew this psychotic person, and it seemed like he would get really angry anytime someone showed some level of emotion. He would get like an envy, sort of jealousy. Like you remember, psychotic people are jealous creatures. They're envious creatures. So they're competitive creatures, and they feel an anger towards human nature because they can't feel and do the things we can do. They don't have the same sort of abilities we have emotionally, and they feel different. And I think they envy a lot of human nature, and I think that's why they do a lot of these crazy crimes. They're also dead on the inside. They're dead on the inside, and that's why they have to do these insane acts to feel life. You know, we have the BTK killer who would run into homes, murder entire families. BTK. He looked that freak of nature up as well. Anyways, these people are dead on the inside, and they do these type of behaviors to feel a bit of life. These really crazy ass behaviors. So, I always thought that removing dark triad people from our planet is one of the most important things we could do for the world. It's not, for the world. So many things would improve when we take the bad people out. Bad people, man. I look at it like just a fact of life. You know, if you take the dark triad people out of the school system, there's going to be no bullying. There's going to be no bullying. Very rarely. There's going to be maybe some sort of bullying once in a while, but very rare. It's not going to be nearly as much as it is right now. It's going to be significantly reduced because a lot of bullies, they tend to have dark triad traits. When you take dark triad to his house, you'll get less, crazy serial killer type people running around. There will be pretty much none of those. None of those. You're not going to get child abuse. Child abuse will be completely gone. Okay, so another thing a point I want to make is that psychotic people tend to have an actual survival. Psychotic men, and women too, I guess. They tend to live for power. That's their main aim in life. Psychotic people try to gain power. That matters more to them than anything else. The feeling of power. There's the psychotic men, for instance, actually seem to have a higher reproductive advantage because, women tend to find that psychology attractive. A lot of women tend to find that psychology attractive. Sad but true. Psychotic men are more reproductively successful than men with good character. Now, you could say whether that's because, they're more likely to cheat on their partners or they're, etc., better looking, they're whatever. I don't know. But the fact of the matter is that over time, over thousands of years, psychotic men have been reproducing better than regular men. But no, I don't know about that actually, because it's 1% of the current population. If they're reproducing a lot better over time, I'd imagine it'd be more. It would be more than 1%. But if we look at the world today, I would imagine in the past, psychotic people would be easily spotted and they'd pay for the things that they did. There would be consequences to their actions. They'd be exiled from the group or killed. But today, in a world where there's such order and laws and safety nets and different places you go, I guess psychopaths have a much easier time making it through this world. And if they ruin their reputation in one area, they just go to another. I've heard stories of girls that girls have told me that they got connected to a guy and they realized he was like completely fake. He was using a fake name. He was using saying all these things about him that were not correct. And she figured out about it and she confronted about it. And then all traces of him were gone. His phone number changed. He wasn't in his apartment anymore. He moved away apparently really quick. Something was very off. Maybe that guy was some serious criminal or something. I don't know. But anyways, let's think of some solutions. One, I would say for all psychotic people today, they should generally be put. Inhumane way would be to just, give them some sort of pill to kill them. Or honestly, I'm not. Okay, let me explain something to you guys. Psychotic people are not human. They aren't. Okay, you could say that it's inhumane, but they aren't human. They're like a machine. There is no individual there. There is a actor, a creature that acts through life and desires power. That is what a psychotic person is. It's a creature that it's not a human. Humans have character. They have a sort of conscience. They have a sense of self. Psychotic people don't have that. There's no. It's a machine. It really is a machine. There's no emotion or empathy. There's nothing there. So a psychotic person, to have them all, taken out of our planet one way or another, is for the better of our planet. But I think that would be the first step. And number two, I think it's a good idea to change really take that characteristic out of the human DNA. Out of the human genes. Really, anyone who has the, if we get to a point where we could alter genes successfully, that would be one of the first things to do. It would be to forget this eye color changing and hair style changing, whatever, skin color changing, what they're trying to do now. Forget that. Focus more on taking the psychotic people out. That's number one. Keep the psychotic people out of here. The reason I'm bringing this up, man, I just saw two videos of child abuse, of parents abusing their kids. And I was thinking to myself, how, and killing their kids. I was thinking to myself, how could a human being do that? And then, I would never be able to do something like that to a kid, let alone my own kid. But there's people who do this. There's some screwed up people on our planet, and they should not be here. They should not be here on our planet. The problems that you face with social problems are generally from these type of people. If you get someone who is doing something like he's manipulating or lying or being passive aggressive, generally it's these type of people. It's these psychotic, dark triad, Machiavellian or narcissistic people that are causing so many issues on our planet. So many problems, political problems, wars, massive wars, resource wars, financial scandals, corrupt CEOs. You have so many of these type of people, and they're at the higher ends of power. The political system is filled with psychotic people. Do you want to know the craziest part? Think about this. What is the most political area of the United States? Washington, D.C., right? The White House? Well, guess what? Washington, D.C. has the highest amount of psychopaths per any area in the United States. The highest degree of psychopaths are in Washington, D.C. Look that up, okay? So a lot of these, and when these powerful people who are also psychotic gain power, think of it this way. Imagine a psychotic parent having a kid, a normal kid. That's a similar way when psychotic politicians and presidents gain power. It's like you're a good, like a normal child with a psychotic parent. Last I checked, psychotic parents are really not good to their kids. There's majority of cases where the parents beat their children and kill their kid even. They're psychotic people. They're a dark triad. So when we have this happening, these psychotic people getting positions of power, it's a really dangerous thing for our world. It's a really, really dangerous thing. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. I really think it is the biggest thing we have to fix. We have to somehow get the psychopathy out of the human gene pool. We have to get that out. And number two, if you know someone or are psychotic yourself, go get yourself checked out. Go get yourself checked out for your psychology. If you score, I don't think a psychotic person will be listening to me. He cannot relate to the way I speak and the things that I'm saying. Psychotic people, they would not be listening to me. But let's say you are psychotic. Let's say you have narcissistic tendencies or whatever. Get yourself checked out. Take a test. Get a good test. If you have anything like that, go to a psychologist or therapist or whatever. Explain what's going on. And do that before you do something insane on our planet, something really dark on our planet, before you cause issues for people who do not deserve those issues. Okay? I'm going to say that. And that would be it. Also, so what I was saying, women choose these people. It's pretty screwed up, but if you think about it, evolutionarily speaking, we chose the opposite partner in terms of their survivability and also reproductive ability. So we would choose the genes most suited for that. So attractive genes and also survival genes. Now, for men, a psychotic man would have a survival advantage, right? They tend to be higher IQ too. Psychotic men would have a survival advantage because he has no empathy. He is an actor. He can manipulate ways into getting what he wants. He can, sleep with multiple women of the tribe and have it completely quiet and secretive. He only cares about himself. So if you care about yourself so much, you take care of yourself a lot better than someone who, let's say, is caring about the whole group. So you have a survival advantage for your genes. So women are naturally going to feel an attraction to that. Sad but true. Women, I'm sorry, but female sexual nature is very corrupt. It is. I'm sorry. Women can say whatever they want about that, but the truth of the matter is, being a human being, maybe you could rise above that. Most women do not, though. They do not rise above these primal corrupt instincts that they have. They don't. Men do more so. I do. I know I do. But women, not so much. Women are kind of, if they did, they wouldn't date guys who are bad people, which they do all the time. They do all the time. So I'm going to leave it at that. I hope something gets done about this. I wish there was a solution to this, but it's going to be very hard when psychotic people are running at the top of the pyramid, which they are today. Psychotic people are running the entire system, and they're at the top of it. So they have a lot of power. So if anyone wanted to create this thing or take action with this, it's going to be very hard because these psychotic people at the top, they know they're psychotic and they're not going to let it happen. That's the big issue here. Okay, guys, I hope I taught you guys something, and I hope if you have any of those traits, you get yourself checked out. And I hope more people are aware of this stuff. This is honestly the biggest problem on our planet, psychotic, dark triad people. It is the biggest problem, by far. Everything else, humans have a lot of ability to change the future for the better. We have a lot of ability to, not engage in negative acts, not create war, not create poverty in areas. But we have that ability as humans, but dark triad psychotic people don't. They don't feel that and they don't care. They're only in it for themselves. They also, one of the other hallmarks of psychopathy is a complete lack of understanding of consequences. When they're in the zone and they're, driving pleasure and power out of something, they're not thinking about the consequences. This is psychotic behavior. So you're sitting there wondering, like, why would a serial killer, or like, why would a parent kill their kid? Why aren't they able to realize that there's like serious consequences to it? Psychotic people don't. They don't realize consequences. They're evil, number one. Number two, they don't care. They don't regard consequences. So if you have powerful people, which there are at the top, making a bunch of political moves, social moves, changing the world, society, they're not worried about the outcome. They're not worried about the consequences of it. They're not worried about it. So again, there's only a lot of bad stuff that could happen from that. Anyways, I'm going to leave it at that. Thank you guys. And I'll be back with more videos on women soon. I'll give some stuff on like looks maxing and all that I've been up to. But yeah, that'd be it. All right. Thank you. Bye.